So I've got three of these. I've got them all. I've got the three base coated. Tabletop role-playing games where your only limitations are character stat blocks, dice rolls, and your imagination. Now that's something I discovered at the age of 18 with games of like Dungeons and Dragons, Vampire the Masquerade, Rifts, GURPS, and others. I never got into Warhammer 40k and never even thought about it until it was presented to me by members of my community. Space Marines are the ones I see the most often whenever I see figurines. So for this video, I'm going to react to the factions of Space Marines and try to put one together that I bought. So this is one. All right. Figured out trying to take and put together. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. No, sir. No, we can't be having all that now. Gotta make sure you're cutting out the right thing.
Space Marines are the quintessential poster boys of Warhammer 40,000. When people think 40k, they think Space Marines, but there are many types of Space Marines, formed from 20 separate legions. We are going to rattle them off in order and give you a quick rundown of each one. A disclaimer, like in my Every Faction Explained video, this is a mix of accuracy and memes. If I say the Salamanders Legion specializes in hugging children and petting puppies, they aren't exactly doing that, mostly.
I would like to pet this creature.
But you can infer that they care
The
about
animation
civilians
there.
and are a bit kinder than the average Space Marine. A Space Marine being a genetically modified super soldier that's had 1,000,000 new and terrifying organs shoved into them, refrigerators strapped to their bodies, and are so far above the average human that they are referred to as demigods instead. Each Space Marine has a father, unlike you, a Primarch, which is basically an even bigger Space Marine that was forged in.
Yeah, with those Space Marines, one of the reasons why we're going to be looking at this is I happened to pick this bad boy up. Now, I got this off of Amazon. I've tried putting together, what was it, a Tyranid that was sent to me. And yeah, for somehow one of the little pieces broke off. But I did this to rectify that because I thought it only right. I've got the Space Marine 2 game. I've got a couple of other Warhammer. I've never really looked fully into the lore. Now, we looked into part 1 that he talked about earlier. Still need part 2 to go through. That said, I figured this would be an interesting video.
In a lab by the God Emperor of Mankind, that gigantic golden dude you see everywhere, who is both the leader and now the martyr of humanity. The Primarchs are his 20 sons, built in a lab, who lead 20 legions.
I was about to say, he got busy, didn't he? But built in a lab. So, talk about that. That's not even an artificial insemination. I mean, there was some boom boom somewhere going on, but it just didn't work. This is, I guess, like Build-A-Bear, but build a Space Marine.
Of Space Marines who are their sons, not from a lab, but rather a dissection table, giving them the powers and skills of their associated Primarch via a gene seed, a special organ carrying the genetic makeup of their Primarch and, you know, their seed. So if Jagatai Khan of the White Scars has the genetic makeup that wants him to go really, really fast, then his sons, the Space Marines, also want to go really, really fast. I should note that I am only referring to the legions this time around.
Sorry, editor, I'm making your job a little bit harder. I'm having to take and move stuff around, so, you know, apologies. So the spots where I pause and, like, there's a couple spots you're gonna have to take a cut through all of this. My apologies.
You tit!
And you want to take me do this. Okay. So, let's see. There's piece number 1. This is the thing that gets me about this, right? I never took and used actual like figurines when I was playing D&D. I think I did one time, but I was like really young, and I was at a cousin's house and he had it. And it's like, I was like, "You got any board games?" And like that's what he had was D&D. It was actually like a D&D action or adventure set. So we played with that. This is something I never had to take and do because I said we don't do this, or I never played with any groups that had, like, even for Vampire the Masquerade, everything was just dice and character sheets. So this is a wee bit different, but I feel like this actually probably gives you a feeling more of ownership for the actual game itself, and not just like campaigns or anything like that, just due to the simple fact of the matter, you're assembling stuff, you're painting it, you're putting in the sweat equity to get it done.
Let us begin with our first Legion.
When knights of the round table, we dance when we're able.
Dark Angels. Allegiance, loyal. Primarch Lion L. Johnson, a duelist, a knight, a real asshole, I'm not gonna lie. The single word descriptor, paranoid. The Dark Angels are our first Legion, hailing from the death world known as Caliban. Their Primarch, Lion L. Johnson, is what happens when you try to make the side profile Chad meme into a genuine character. He is a master tier duelist, a brilliant strategist, and an overall dick. There are few situations he isn't prepared for.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, with the lore of Warhammer 40k, I mean, it's kind of all blood, guts, and gore the entire time, so figured there'd be a dick or two thrown in there somewhere, right?
And few fights he isn't ready to lead head on. This makes the Dark Angels have a very Knights of the Round Table vibe. They look like the Knights of old with these large suits of power armor, often donning robes and hoods. Their names also
they look terrifying.
Azrael, Belial, Samuel, and so on. However, the common thing associated with Dark Angels are the Fallen, a part of their faction that turned traitor against the Imperium, and they are very heavily trying to expunge all knowledge of them from existence. Fallen? What Fallen? Never heard of any Fallen. Do you know about the Fallen? We're gonna take you away and mind probe you to make sure you have never heard of the Fallen. They definitely don't exist, and if they do exist, which they don't, we will find them even though they don't exist. They love their interrogations. They thrive in it. Lionel Johnson is a scorched earth policy sometimes, and it's given to his sons in force, which makes sense considering that when the Lion heard of a Chaos Primarch on a homeworld different Primarch, whose mom was there, he was like, let's nuke it. The Dark Angels are a special group where they formulate themselves into 3 different factions. The Deathwing Terminators.
That's effective. Nuke it.
The Raven Wing, fast jet bikes and flyers. And the Green Wing, which is your standard Marines. They are a jack of all trades, but not in the sense where they're good at everything, but rather they have a lot of things that are good at specific things. Like instead of 20 people that have a multi-tool, they instead have 20 people with gigantic power tools for every job imaginable. If you like being suspicious about everyone and everything in your surroundings, but you also like to have a whole lot of deep knight type lore, run the Dark Angels.
The One Piece! The One Piece is real!
Our second Legion is a special one.
If you can see, the numbers all go to 11.
The Emperor's Children. Allegiance, traitor. Primarch, Fulgrim.
Okay, I'm gonna say we've seen green armor. Now we're seeing this like reddish, pinkish looking armor. I'll be honest with you, that looks quite. You see that, you'd probably think you're gonna die. I mean, all I'm saying is like it's blood. That's kind of what it looks like.
Perfectionist, an artist, a sneaky snaky snake. And the single word descriptor, perfection. The Emperor's Children are all about the pursuit of perfection. Perfection in all they do. Perfection in war, in artistry, and perfection in every other aspect of life. Their armor is a gleaming pink, purple, and gold. Their ships have spires of gorgeous marble and gold statues in their honor. Fulgrim is a man who believes the pursuit of perfection is the goal of all things. And I mean, look at him. Can you truly tell me that he is not perfect? The hair, the features. As Primarchs go, he is the one you look at, and if 40k had a guy that would give you the best sex you've ever had and never call you back, this is the fucking guy. Which is why this pursuit of decadence led them to the evils of chaos. Yes, Emperor's Children are our first Chaos Legion, and not just a normal one. One devoted to, you guessed it, Slaanesh, the Prince of Pleasure, God of unspeakable excess. The Emperor's Children in their pursuit are now horrifyingly mutated beings through Slaanesh's great will. They torture and maim to.
Okay, so hold on. The guy that's over this one kind of looks almost, in some of the pictures, very much doodly. There's the one picture there, kind of feminine, a little bit androgynous. But then servant of God is a prince that, oh, okay, gotcha. Because those are, that God got a boob job. That's all I'm saying.
To feel perfection through pain. They screech and attack with sonic weaponry for perfection through sound. And they slaughter, aiming for perfection in war. Fulgrim himself lost the battle against Slaanesh as a demon sword corrupted his mind and transformed him into the sexy man he was, into the sexy snake he is now. A demon Primarch, corrupted and bringing his legion's will by himself. As far as Emperor's children go, they are some bad people. They do horrible, horrible things to anyone and everything. In fact, they're such trolls that their battle cry is for the Emperor, despite being horribly mutated and corrupted. If you've ever taken a little too much of a drug, or maybe the music at the concert was too loud and you didn't bring any earplugs, or whatever the reason, you just take all those things and you dial it, and you dial it, and you twist it, and the knob breaks. And that is the Emperor's children.
God is
Dastardly dudes, and
dead, we mean dead, and we have killed him.
The Iron Warriors. Allegiance, traitor. Primarch, Perturabo, a warlord, a siege smith, an incel. Single word descriptor, siege. Continuing the trend of our Chaos Legions, we have the Iron Warriors led by Primarch Perturabo of Olympia. To understand the Iron Warriors, though, one must first understand Perturabo. A man so bitter, coffee beans run for light. A man who hates the world and everyone in it, who never got recognition for his deeds, who hates his brothers and hates their accomplishments even more. Someone...
so it sounds like someone who's got middle child syndrome, but you know, super juiced. That's terrifying proposition.
So laughably petty, so incredibly bitter that he goes full circle to becoming likable. Why? Because he's competent. The Horus Heresy. We didn't talk about the Horus Heresy. Intermission. So Horus was the Emperor's favorite son, right? You know, so the Emperor walked into his room. Horus said, Dad, I just gifted 150 subs to Amaranth, and she said my name a ton, and she loved me for it. I really think that I might get to meet her one day. And it kind of played out something like this.
Your feelings for her are not real.
They are real to me!
And then it started playing out a little bit more like this.
Let the seas boil. Let the stars fall. So it takes the last drop of my blood.
Yeah. So Iron Warriors, the Horus Heresy wouldn't have gotten shit done without Peter Turbo. Imagine an entire faction that is the personification of brutal industrialism, where you serve the Legion until your dying breath. You build and you kill and you siege and you kill and you literally summon demons just to take them and trap them in machines and use them as cannon fodder.
Okay, that actually sounds, I'll be honest with you, that sounds like something I'd play as, or have an army of. Just throwing that out there, because that's pretty dastardly, to be honest with you.
This is a thing they do. They summon demons to trap and use as shock troops. The Iron Warriors are siege warfare incarnate. They are heavy weapons, they are tanks, they are turrets, and they don't die. They hate Imperials, they hate Imperial fists.
Do you need a pacifier, Iron Baby? No! No, I don't!
They are bitter incarnate. Perturabo and the Iron Warriors don't serve the Chaos Gods because they like them. They serve them because fuck you.
Come on, guys, let's go.
Not another speeding ticket.
Serve them out of spite.
But I don't think they're gonna accept gotta go fast as a medical condition.
The White Scars. Allegiance, Loyalist. Primarch, Jagatai Khan, a speed demon, a plain strider, a roast god. Single word descriptor, speed. Hailing from Chagoris. The White Scars are all about speed. They love melee, but they love it even more when they are doing it from a motorcycle or land speeder. Or
I love
honestly,
the Akira play right there on that.
Fast. The White Scars are honestly forgotten about a lot, and that's lore accurate. They are a legion that doesn't seek the recognition or glory from the combat they engage in. They engage in it because it is their duty and because they love it. Not in the insane slaughter enjoyment of loving it, but in the thrill of the fight. They are known as the Laughing Killers because they ride into battle with a smile on their face and a chuckle in their throat. And as you can tell by their Primarch's name, they are Mongolian based. Remove horses and replace them with motorcycles and land spears, and that's your style. They are heavily based on the old times of Genghis Khan, and consider this is 40k and everybody's evil. You know, that fits. The White Scars are actually physical scars on their body, going back to their heritage on Chagoris. The Khan himself is kind of a dickhead, but a reasonable one. He thinks ahead, he's intelligent, he's patient, he is.
I love the transformation of like a historical character, at least taking inspiration from a historical character, because Genghis Khan took over a good portion of the world, and them taking that kind of spirit, that's actually pretty pimp. I like that.
Is often underestimated because he doesn't scream his accomplishments from the rooftops, which is what makes him and the White Scars dangerous. His skills are kept at bay, only to be truly shown when the time is needed. The White Scars are a forgotten legion often, but that doesn't diminish their accomplishments. All it does is surprise those who underestimate them. Speed, awesome Mongolian vibe they got going on, and if you really like to stab people, that's the White Scars for you.
Meanwhile, in our universe,
6. There's so many tiny pieces. I remember going to me and a friend, we'd go to the storyteller or the dungeon master's house, and we'd get there 9-10 o'clock at night, and we would be there until 7-8 o'clock the next morning before either one of us would be rolling out to actually go back home. But it was a lot of good fun, a lot of memories and stuff like that. We mostly played Exalted, Vampire the Masquerade, and stuff like Rift, GURPS. Mostly, but we played more Rifts than GURPS. But we played a lot of Vampire the Masquerade and a whole lot of Exalted. I've actually run more games as a dungeon master than actually as a player, than played in games for Dungeons and Dragons. Alright, so what now? Oh, did I take and do that too close? I hope not. 4 and 7. So 4. And that's the thing for me with the Tyranid that I was sent. Quite a few more pieces. This puts together 3, whereas the Tyranid is like a section like this, and all it was for one character, so, or one figurine. So 4 and 7. That's definitely a 7. Right, where's the 4? I'm not seeing the 4. Open your eyes! Cut out the 7 and I'll find the 4. It's funny as I remember after starting my channel and having members telling me, oh, you should look at Warhammer 40k, and being like, do what? And then seeing the pictures they posted of the figurines, and then realizing I had quite a few members of my community that played this game. I'm gonna need to take and clean that bit up right there. I can see where having some sandpaper might be advantageous. Get these little bits and bobs on here. This piece right here. You know what? So we don't cut ourselves to hell and back, we're going to do this, and then now we're going to look for the other piece number 4.
Meanwhile,
This is Dog.
woof, 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 woof. Woof, bitch.
The Space Wolves. Allegiance, Loyalist. Primarch, Leman Russ. A Viking, a Savage, the Undertaker. Single word descriptor, wolf, 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 wolf. There's so many goddamn wolf units. Skater, how many units in the Space Wolves Codex have the word wolf in their name? The Space Wolves are the 6th Legion and hail from Fenris, a frozen wasteland of a world with their Primarch, Leman Russ. I don't really need to spend a whole lot of time talking about the Space Wolves because it's very obvious who they are. They are the 2nd most obvious what their shtick is legion in the 20 legions besides the world eaters. When you look at the Space Wolves behind, what do you see? Do you see Vikings in space? You've done it. Congratulations, you have found Vikings
About
in
to
space.
say,
But
that's
they
kind
have
of-
as much in common
that's
with
kind
a
of
regular
apparent.
Marine as an all-day Viking with like a Roman soldier. You see, as a Space Marine, your body is so enhanced that you filter out poison, and so you can't get drunk. The Space Wolves distill a special mead out of a horrible poisonous plant that would kill a normal human so they could get drunk. They have fangs in their mouths. They sometimes cannibalize their enemies. Sometimes they eat people because they gain knowledge about them from there and about battle plans. The Space Wolf.
So wait. Oh, they're Vikings with a bit of a Hannibal Lecter twist. And it sounds like being able to take and eat their enemies and get battle plans. It's almost got, there's a comic, visual novel, whatever you want to call it, called Chew, where the guy takes and actually eats body parts of murder victims to take and get the lay of what happened. That's pretty neat. Okay.
Wolves are savages. They're raiders. They're Vikings. But despite all of this, they are loyal to their core. Leman Russ is an egotistical guy who just shouts stories and tales of his accomplishments everywhere they can. But at the same time, he was so damn loyal that instead of gunning down his foes, he hit him with a fucking backbreaker to show his devotion to wrestling. If you want Vikings in space, you found it. Play the Vikings in space.
We're going to build the wall. We have no choice. We have no choice. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall.
The Imperial Fists. Allegiance, loyalist. Primarch, Rogel Dorn. A builder, a phalanx.
Ooh, he got messed up.
Needs a hand.
Look at that face.
Descriptor, fortify. The Imperial Fists are led by Primarch Rogel Dorn, their homeworld of Inuit. However, they themselves are actually a fleet-based chapter, with their main source of recruitment coming from an enormous moon-sized ship called the Phalanx.
Seems like the perfect crossover for Elite Dangerous. Just saying, just looking at that one ship that is showed right there, seems kind of perfect because, well, you're in space on Elite Dangerous, and yeah, you get external and existential threats every so often, so that would actually be pretty neat crossover type deal.
The Fists are a chapter you think of when you think of duty. They love to serve. The love to serve and the inability to be moved. Rogel Dorn is an architect, a master builder, and basically a rock in brain and body. A lack of humor or ability to lie shows that he is as blunt as the weapons of war he creates. Not the swords he makes, but like blunt, strong weapons. The Fists are the same. Take your archetypical American Marine style look, a buzz cut, a hard sense of duty, and then throw in some power armor and a love for building defenses, and you have the Imperial Fists. They are immovable. When you find a spot, they're ready to defend. You can't breach them. Their knowledge of defensive warfare is paramount. Without them, the Horus Heresy would have been so much more effective, but thanks to their insane and immovable tenacity, the Imperium lives today. And let's not forget that Iron Warrior and Imperial Fist rivalry. Want to know why the Iron Warriors are so bitter? These guys are the reason why.
Hey, guys, bring the thing! Where is he going? Hey! Hey, that could have killed me! Hey, guys! We missed! Get another!
Dorn and Perturabo are
Where can I find those? Like, that seems like, unless he's the one doing those exact animations, there's no better way to take and you know, sometimes see things than from a humorous point of view. And seeing stuff like that for shits and giggles, that'd be something I'd take and see, even if it's just little short pieces of stuff like that.
are basically two sides of the same coin. One is just a bit more level-headed and got better jobs. If you want to be defensive, to be good at everything Space Marines are good at, bolters, heavy weapons, vehicles, you want a classic military fighting force, start fisting.
I am having a very bad day. Today.
Start fisting. I'm sorry, there's so many different directions that could get this channel monetized completely just from hearing that. That's not a phrase that I expect to hear in regards to anything, even with a name like Iron Fist, because it just doesn't sound right. Just saying, because yeah, fisting involves orifices. Fisting involves orifices and yeah, an innate sense of stretching things, unfortunately.
Hey, that's what she said.
Okay, right there. Here we go. There's one. Jessica, you have fun cobbling all this shit together.
I know this thing's gonna sink, but I'm having a good time.
So 8, 9, 10, and 11. Trying to make sure I don't cut too much off of pieces. Yeah, pieces like this where you're definitely going to need something. Oh, I didn't want to cut into it like that. God dang it. I gotta rate down crap. 9. Let's see. Oh, I'm gouging the crap out of my desk.
Oh boy, here we go. The Night Lords. Allegiance, heretic. Primarch, Conrad Kurz. A sadist, a vigilante, depresso espresso. Single word, fear. The Night Lords are my favorite legion, hailing from Nostromo and their Primarch, Conrad Kurz. They are a traitor legion from a planet known as the Sunless World, or the World of Endless Night. Nostromo is a horrible hive city that is known for being host to some of the worst gang violence, murder, and working conditions around. The only thing keeping the population in check is the suicide rate. The Night Lords followed in the footsteps of their Primarch, a man who believed in a twisted sense of justice and that the only way to make humans
So Gotham and Batman on steroids. Probably really strong steroids and lots of them.
compliant is through fear. The Legion's lesson has been lost on them, as their ranks were repopulated by gang members, murderers, arsonists, torturers, and other words I can't say on YouTube, as young as 12 years old. Murderers before they were even teenagers, raised to become demigods. Now, fear is what they sow and flesh is what they reap. The Night Lords are scum. They are the exact opposite of all other legions. They torture and they maim and they flay because they think it's fun. They run away off.
Sounds like they'd be fun to
Often
play.
so they can come back and kill you with more numbers. They prey on the innocent and the weak. They kill normal civilians because it's easy, and flee any battle where they don't possess overwhelming odds. They are the antithesis of normal Space Marines. They are scum. One time, a world did not comply to their demands, so they raided one of their ships and brought it into atmosphere. The crowds cheered and clapped as it appears that they had won the battle, and the airlocks opened and the skinned and flayed bodies of the crew were thrown down in the populace. In other words, a legion.
I mean, you want to strike fear into someone and, you know, bro, some of these things are brutal. Oh my goodness.
Of gangers and criminals. Add together a heavy Slavic influence to them, and you've got my favorite faction.
You have not done the dishes for 5 years. So embarrassed when people come over here.
What does it matter? You bring them over, you kill them. Vampires don't do dishes.
The Blood Angels. Allegiance, loyal. Primarch, sanguineous. An angel, a vampire, a dead-ass motherfucker. Single word descriptor, blood. The Blood Angels are 9th Legion, hailing from the homeworld of Baal, with their Primarch, Sanguinius. The Blood Angels are a tragic tale.
The planet of Baal, and the Primarch is Sanguinius, so sanguine being relation to blood. Like, I love to play on all that. Baal seemed to be, I'm gonna guess some variation, spelled some variation of B-A, probably double A with an L or double L. So very much like ancient demon or god. Okay. That's, and oftentimes violence and stuff surrounded it. The intertwining that's done for some of this stuff is really intelligently done. Even if it's, even for the ones that are kind of like the Vikings in space, right? Still makes sense. It warrior classes and everything like that. This right here though, okay. Blood Angels, all sanguine. That's, yeah. Okay.
With one of the best Primarchs, one beloved by almost everybody, a genuine angelic figure who led his people to glory, killed by the hands of the traitor Horus before the Emperor's eyes. The death of their Primarch led the entire Legion to madness as their gene seed malfunctioned and created something known as the Black rage. The Blood Angels degrade over time, experiencing something called the Red Thirst, which gives them a genuine vampiric thirst for blood. As their minds degrade and break down, they get angrier and angrier, becoming berserk killing machines with no other goal than to tear everything in sight apart. But they don't see it as that. They see themselves there, at their Primarch's demise, with Horus in sight. And to them, it's time for vengeance. That Space Marine over there, that Chaos Space Marine, that's Horus. Kill him. That Orc War Boss over there, Horus. Kill him. That Tyranid Swarm, 1,000 Horuses. Horai. Kill them all. Did your toast come out a little bit burnt? Horus sabotaged your toaster. Destroy the toaster. Destroy it. Do it. Do it. Kill your toaster. Do it.
So that the conspiracy theorist
disease takes over the Blood Angels, and it gives them this angelic, vampire, and Catholic-inspired imagery. They have chalices of blood. They rest in coffins and can even use psychic powers to sprout angel wings from their bodies. They are a tragedy through and through, and the only thing that will look more tragic are the mangled bodies of those they come in contact with.
So, just gonna say this: they sound like the same way the Republicans, and they blame everything on George Soros. So that would be, it's Horus, kind of a similar vibe there.
And honey, we forgot to mention, we're gonna take your job away.
The Iron Hands. Allegiance, loyalist. Primarch, Ferrus Manus, a machinist, an inventor, and not a great head on his shoulders. Single word, bionics. The Iron Hands are from the home planet of Medusa and their Primarch, Ferrus Manus. Does Ferrus Manus have an iron hand? You fucking know he's got an iron hand. The Iron Hands believe that the flesh is weakness. But despite all of their enhancements, despite all the things that made them demigods, replacing some of the flesh with bionics will allow them to serve the Emperor more. They go hard into vehicles and dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts being giant walking sarcophagi that have wounded Space Marines piloting them from the inside. Vehicles, metal upgrades. These are the things that make up this legion. Their tech marines have servo arms sticking out from all directions. They have a wide array of mechanics and extremely often replace limbs with metal ones, serving all kinds of different functions to deal with their enemies. The Iron Hands are also not particularly nice. They're kind of assholes. I mean, Marines are already normally pretty big assholes, but they're a little bit up there because of their flesh, civilians made of flesh, because you see, the flesh is weak. Flesh is corruptible. Bionics, the strength of the machine is pure and cannot so easily be corrupted. So if you want people who have this little techno-fetishistic vibe to them, that love their vehicles and their walking coffins, hit up the Iron Hands.
Understand, Commander, I was never here.
Legion 11. Why, hello there. I have returned from touching grass. I know. I'm pretty cool with the grass touching. And now let's continue our Warhammer lecture.
This ruffles my jammies.
Okay, so what's going on here?
I am a super sandwich.
The World Eaters. Allegiance, heretic. Primarch, Angron, a butcher, a slaughterer.
Like extremely, earth-shatteringly, unreasonably fuck-ass mad.
Single word descriptor, anger. Hey you! Yeah, you! Are you mad?
It's kind of in the name, Angron. Just play on angry.
Do you just fucking hate everything? Do you want to murder everything in sight and get rewarded for doing so? Then you should join the World Eaters. Home planet of Nuceria and Primarch Angron, who, if the name didn't suggest, is real fucking angry. Angron was raised a slave, forced to fight in gladiator pits. When he refused, they shoved old world tech into his brain so that if he ever felt any emotion other than anger, it caused him extreme pain. All his sons, wanting to be like their dad, also put a version of these nails in their brain. So now you have an entire legion who literally feel unimaginable pain if they are feeling any emotion other than anger. Slap them with a freight train of armor, 2 goddamn chainsaw axes, and you can see what's gonna happen. It's no wonder they're corrupted by corn. They're honestly a surprisingly sad legion that I actually screwed up in assuming that they were all just angry murderers. I mean, they are, but they didn't start out that way. Their corn corruption degraded their intelligence, their free will. And
about to say, every one of these and everything I've seen just in even in the part 1 video explaining all the different factions, they all sound like psychopathic murderers.
It made powerful warriors into arguably even more powerful warriors, but blunt, like frothing at the mouth psycho warriors. The World Eaters, like I mentioned in the Space Wolves, they wear their concept on their sleeve. They are angry, they want to kill things, they want to kill you and maybe some of their friends, and that's the faction.
Well, this one doesn't seem like very, like the other ones at least, even if you get the gist right away, this one's not very imaginative in the least, at least not the naming and everything like that. I mean, I get it, it goes with it, but like the wolves ones, it's kind of clever. Like, oh, why is it wolves? And you see, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Even the vampiric ones makes sense. This one with the Primarch of Angron, well, I wonder what they are. All red armor. He's angry. Okay.
They're red, they're mad, they're gonna run at you and cause death.
And Angron, they're all angry, they wear red, so kind of, again, tying into, you know, because somebody gets angry, they're seeing red. I get it. It's very, very, very forward, though. Like, oh, there's no imagination on why these are like this. Okay.
If you like that, you play the World Eaters. Or you like it because they were, you know, at one point a lot better than that. Most of Warhammer was a lot better than that. I was once a lot better than that. That was when I was in college. I didn't finish college, and neither did Angron.
And now for something completely different.
I remember, I got some over top. That's the other thing my editor's going to have to do. Find a way to take and use both videos from the phone and what's up top, as I'm just chit-chatting. And, I don't know, maybe you can just use the video from the phone and then use the audio from this, but I have a feeling it'd probably be better. I don't know. You figure it out. Whichever works best for you. 8. Another one of the heads. Alright. This one, that one goes in there. Oh, wait, hold on. One more piece. 11. Where is 11? 14. There's 11. Some of these in the right position. It's like might be a pain in the butt just a little bit. What the hell? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Now it's just getting this into position. Aha! Aha, I see, says the blind man to the deaf mute. They don't want some of these to take and fit all that. I mean, like, they're fitting, but they want you to take and be like, alright, hold on. Try to finagle some of this shit.
Hail Caesar. If it's not done by sunrise, I'll cut your balls off.
The Ultramarines. Allegiance, Loyalist. Primarch, Rabute Gilliman. That's how it's said. An Analyst, a Diplomat, a Blueberry Boy Scout. Single word descriptor, duty. When you see Space Marines on a box or just Space Marines in promotional material, notice how they are always colored blue. These are the blue Space Marines. These ones here, the Ultramarines, who hail from the world of Macrogg with their Primarch, Rabute Gorilla Man. Ultramarines are the white bread of Space Marines, the grilled chicken with salt.
So I'm guessing the ones here, the Infernus Marines. I'm guessing that's what they're from. Glad they come with paints, because the paints that my wife picked up at Wally World, Apple Barn. Now granted, it's acrylic and everything, so gonna venture a guess that it probably doesn't have the same type of coverage as what comes with this. I could be wrong.
Salt and pepper. This is by no means an insult. They are plain Jane, but that's also because they are so goddamn good at their job. Their skill for warfare is paramount, but so is their ability for leadership. Guilliman for a while was a damn boring Primarch for all the reasons he was great, because no matter how hard you try, you don't win a war without logistics, without supply lines, without trade routes, without infrastructure and economy. You don't win anything without all that stuff, and Guilliman knows it, which is why he has one of the largest standing empires in the Imperium, named Ultramar, which is why his sons are the most recognizable of all the Space Marines, which is why the only thing that rivals the weight of their victories is the weight of their egos. They are good at everything and bad at nothing.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Everything. Other legions can do other things better than them, but they are good at everything. The most interesting thing about the Ultramarines is their characters, as they are all now inflicted with various amounts of ultra depression for many reasons. Guilliman is, at the time of recording, the only playable Primarch currently on the tabletop, and the only one that has returned to the 41st millennium for the Loyalist side. He took one look at what his empire has become and immediately wanted to fucking die, being forced to lead everything he once hated, an Imperium rotten to...
Wait, so they're all afflicted with depression, so people that, even though you got an empire and stuff like that, death and destruction is basically all you pretty much wreak across the landscape. I'm guessing the Imperial or whatever, the Emperor. Anyways, I'm guessing, you know, that a lot of PTSD that comes with that, so, and in turn, regardless of how good you are at everything and how big your ego, you're going to take and be going to have some, you know, some issues. And that's all tongue in cheek, in case you can't tell.
Its core, with his sole responsibility to save it, is kind of what makes him interesting. They are a perfectly standard legion with perfectly standard ideals, and great if you want a simple, clean slate.
Uh-oh, stinky, funny poop, poop funny, woo!
The Death Guard. Allegiance, heretic. Primarch, Mortarian. A reaper, a poison, an ungodly stench. Single word descriptor, rot. The Death Guard hail from Barbaros, with the Primarch Mortarium. The 14th Legion were known for their incredible resilience to damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Where the Imperial Fists were defensive thanks to tactics and posturing, the Death Guard were resilient because they could take a punch, or a gut shot, or a cannon to the chest, and just keep on moving. They are slow, yet they are resistant, which was only confounded as a Death Guard captain, Typhus, codename Dickhead, sold them out to Nurgle, god of rot and decay. Now, the Death Guard are a Nurgle-worshipping infected legion whose ability to feel pain and take damage has all but just gone away. They wade through gunfire, able to kill normal Marines 10 times over and continue unharmed, all while spreading rot and disease in the name of their dark, very stinky master. Where the Death Guard enter, plague spreads. People get sick and they die. They spread debilitating disease to all around them. Why would a legion need to be anything more than very tanky when their enemies are falling over, puking, firing out of both ends, and having their skin peel off just by their presence? Entire worlds infested with a zombie rot, swarms of insects that eat flesh and metal alike, all while the legion advances slowly, painfully.
I get the feeling these right here, there's a couple of these that would fit in well. Like if they were to take and make a whole, you know, set of cards for Magic the Gathering, as far as like just for one color for some of these. Like this one would definitely be black, 100%. I think Angron would probably actually be red. So, but this, yeah, death, rot, decay. Yeah, that's the black part of the Magic the Gathering. Be a nice little tie-in.
All the disease they spread to take its toll before they reap the lives they believe belong to them. And look at Mortarian's model, dude. The man is baller as fuck. A gigantic moth with a gigantic scythe. Come on now. The Death Guard.
For my next trick!
I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
The Thousand Sons. Allegiance, heretic. Primarch, Magnus the Red. A scholar, a sorcerer, a fucking nerd. Single word descriptor? Magic. The Thousand Sons hail from their homeworld of Prospero, with their Primarch Magnus the Red. The final of our 4 major Chaos God factions, the Thousand Sons are disciples of Tzeentch, the Changer of Ways. Heavily inspired by their Egyptian theming, the Legion themselves are slaves to the god of trickery and change, most of them no longer even having a physical form, reduced to just dust, piloting suits of armor at the whim of a sorcerer leader. The Thousand Sons do not deserve their fate. There's a common joke that Magnus did nothing wrong. This is untrue. He has done much wrong. However, he is very sympathetic, mainly because the Space Wolves and Leman Russ sought to end their rivalry through the annihilation of their legion, escaping only through the assistance of the Changer of Ways, and forever changed because of it. Meanwhile, magic is their main tool. Take some Lovecraftian style abilities, the eyes everywhere, and potent spells to be cast at their foes, whether these are bolts of psychic lightning, reversing time itself, opening up portals to unreality, or changing the very fabric of the universe. The Thousand Sons sorcery knows no bounds, and they are very good at it. If you're a fan of like wizards, your classic style of spellcaster, and you want a ton of them, combined with a tragic backstory and a Primarch who, like Mortarion, looks fucking baller, the Thousand Sons are for you.
You fucking asshole! There's no way, you're a fucking cheater. You're such a sore loser. You're a cheater. My dad works at Nintendo!
The Sons of Horus, or the Luna Wolves, or the Black Legion. Allegiance, heretic. Primarch, Horus, a warlord, a treasured friend, or the traitor himself. Single word descriptor, assault. The Sons of Horus are the formal name of Horus's legion, hailing from the world of Chthoniya. The Sons of Horus themselves were assault troops. The strength of their attack was some of the most powerful in the legions. While the White Scars may favor speed for their strikes, the Sons of Horus were known for their overall offensive power. It was even said that if the Sons of Horus met the Imperial fists, they would be at a stalemate for eternity. However, the Sons of Horus are no longer.
Oh, wow.
Because, well, they are now instead the Black Legion, led by Abaddon the Despoiler, who claims to succeed where his father failed. The Black Legion are still an offensive and assault-based force, but they act much like the Ultramarines, but for chaos. Your standard black and brass Space Marine, who are known for recruiting in all different kinds of avenues. Anyone can become a member of the Black Legion. Anyone can swear allegiance to the War Master. You gain favored by not just one, but all 4 gods equally. Their famous line, "Let the galaxy burn," is the best way to describe them. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. So long as the Imperium dies, the Black Legion has done its job. They are a legion formed from hatred and spite, with a clear goal in mind, as the Dark Gods are calling, and the Black Legion are sure to answer.
So it'd have been cool to have stuff like this for games like Exalted, because I had characters, like I had a character that had double throwing hatchets that had like little balls of energy that you attune to, and whenever you got attuned to them, you throw them at your enemy and they come back to you, like no kind of spell needed or anything like that. But it was a recall type energy, or recall artifact, so you just throw them, they come back, so you had almost unlimited, as long as you were within sight. Something like that to take and actually, for a game like Exalted, or even something that you could have done for a game like Vampire the Masquerade, that would have been actually pretty pimp, now that I'm sitting here putting these together, because as long as they did it in a manner to where you actually, I don't know, you could probably nowadays 3D print something like that, but you know, as long as they had options to where, even if it's just a figurine that you could paint pretty badass with a couple little things that you could, you know, maybe they have it where you can hold for like either a sword or something like that, or shields, or That would have been pretty cool, to be honest with you. Let's see. So here's number 2. Alright, I guess the rest of these are number 3. Oh, wait, I missed one. Shit. 14. So it's 18. So this would be 14. Alright. So for those that do this, is it easier to take and paint these pieces individually, let them dry? Well, cut them out, paint them individually, let them dry, at least with the base coat, paint them again with whatever your finish coat is, or is it easier to take and put them together like this and then take and do your painting? I think from the people I know that I know to do it, I think y'all mostly like put these together, right? And then paint them. So the rest of these pieces are what's left. So for the third one, I read somewhere there's like 25 million D&D players worldwide. There's like 2.5 million players on that do Warcraft or Warhammer 40k. The one good thing is I don't have to create a whole new channel for this, seeing as this is a UK product and my channel being UK focused. Well, I mean, it just kind of makes sense, right? I know for some of y'all that last statement might have been a bit of a stretch, but it's my channel. We're gonna roll with it.
Hello. Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ?
No.
Oh, wait, we got world destroyers and world bearers. Oh, word barriers. Oh, okay. I'm about to say, you don't have dyslexia. You should be able to take and read that with no problem. Ding dong.
Fucking optional.
The word bearers. Allegiance, heretic. Primarch, Lorgar Aurelian, a preacher, a fanatic, a choir boy. Single word descriptor.
Why does he look like Ben Kingsley?
Zeal. If the Black Legion
asking for a
answered
friend,
the call of the Dark Gods, what if instead you decide to call the gods first? Well, then the word bearers are for you. The 17th Legion, led by Primarch Lorgar on the planet of Colchis. Originally obsessed with worshiping the Emperor of Mankind as a god, they found that despite his divinity, he was not worthy of worship because, you know, he raised their equivalent of Jerusalem to the ground for daring to worship him. Like,
yeah, that might, I can see that might take and piss some people off.
Just like, Jerusalem is stupid. It just destroyed the whole thing. Like, what would that do to your head? But there are gods that want worship and will reward those who do. The word bearers are chaos worshippers to a T. All chaos gods. They specialize in demonic rituals, the summoning of demons, and the mutual possession of their own troops. They welcome demons to their bodies to fight as one. They exalt the dark gods themselves for aid, and guess what? They answer. In the world of 40k, Satan doesn't just call you back. He hops in his GT Mustang and he crashes on your couch. In the world of 40k, your rituals will end with genuine results. The word bearers know this. They know through sacrifices, through devotion, through dark baptism,
I'm just going to say, this sounds like another interesting unit here to take and play, or an interesting army to play. It just does.
Gods will answer and they will be rewarded. So they use it. They bring forth demons. They bring forth possessions. They bring forth the power of the neverborn, the damned, and those that hide in the dark to bear against the Imperium. Lorgar sits there, smiling, as the truth he always knew, the existence of gods and the importance of faith is a reality. And it is a tool he is using to rend the galaxy.
Dear Sir Stroke Madam, fire! Exclamation mark. Fire! Exclamation mark. Help me!
The Salamanders. Allegiance, loyalist. Primarch, Vulcan, a forge master, a behemoth, a very huggy boy. Single word descriptor, Fire. The Salamanders hail from Nocturne, a volcanic planet home to their Primarch Vulcan. They are the largest of the Space Marines, not due to numbers, but rather size. Vulcan, he is an enormous slab of beef, by far the largest of all the Primarchs. However, don't let his size fool you, as he is also the kindest. Salamanders have the juxtaposition of...
Well, that's not something we've heard from any of these. He's also the kindest. They've all been psychopaths in one way or another. What is he, a killer with a soft side or something like that? Spares puppies and kills kittens? I mean, like, you know, or spares kittens and kills puppies?
Looking frightening, being larger than other Marines while also boasting an ashy, like coal color skin and blazing red eyes, while simultaneously carrying around all manner of flame weaponry. So your average civilian might be spooked, but in reality, they are by far the kindest of all the legions to those civilians. Vulcan believes that to safeguard the Imperium is to, at the end of the day, safeguard its people. So unlike other legions who put their lives far and above the average human, the Salamanders spend significantly more time trying to save them, often taking numerous losses by doing so. They are very independent as well. They're forgers and blacksmiths, maintaining their own weapons and crafting versions of it. They also have the very rare privilege of being able to see their families even after becoming a Space Marine.
So basically, they're the ones, if you're a human, you want on your side, is what I'm getting off of this. Very much sounds like protectors of humankind almost.
They care, which is the funny part, because the 7.5 foot tall giant with flaming red eyes who just reduced a traitor to bubbling metal says, "You have nothing to fear, young citizen. Take my hand." If you enjoy fire, melting things, and being the nicer of the Marines, Salamanders are for you.
To be honest with you, I know that there's quite a few of y'all in my community, so for the regular viewers, this won't be a regular type thing. I do have friends' channels that if I take and get anything past these, I can go to their channels and hop up with them, or I could just start a whole new channel about learning about Warhammer 40k, plus make it about other tabletop RPGs and resources and stuff out there to do those. This.
Oh, hell no!
Oh, wait. I decided I didn't want to take and go in there right this go around.
We'll return after these messages.
Alright, there we go, there's that. Now, for this one, it's supposed to be press fit, but I can see the reason why something like glue would be preferable for some of these things, because the way you have to take and press some of these things in, right? How much of that got in view? My apologies. All right, there we have it. There's the last. Oh, there's the last one. Got it put together. Now I guess it's time to, at least for the sake of this, base coat everything, and then later on after I'm done, I can show you all the finished product, maybe, or you know, just simple fact I got it done.
Saga, sneak attacks don't work if you yell it out loud.
The Raven Guard. Allegiance, Loyalist. Primarch, Corvus Corax. A Raven, a Shadow. An industrial dance DJ. Single word descriptor, stealth. The Raven Guard are the final Loyalist Legion at 19 and hail from the planet Deliverance with Primarch Corvus Corax. If it hasn't been made clear enough already, the Raven Guard are stealth specialists and proficient in all manners of assassination. Despite this, their signature winged jump pack and double lightning claw look is, well, not very stealthy. They are named after, of course, the Raven, and embody the entire concept of it as a herald of death. They are stealthy, patient hunters that have no problem with waiting and waiting and waiting until the moment to strike is at hand.
So kind of like
It's
snipers.
not easy being a stealth faction when your stealth involves people in 1 ton of power armor, but they find...
Oh wait, stealth faction, I said snipers, which could be the case, but in all black and everything like that. So ninjas, they're the ninjas.
The way. That more than anything should not be used to show how ridiculous 40k is, even though it is, but rather to show how good the Raven Guard are at their jobs. It's not about them sneaking around you without being seen, but it's also about them having lied in wait for so long that it wasn't until they were in striking distance that you even realized they had been there. And also, if you want, you know, edgelord Marines with a long black haircut, pale skin, ravens everywhere, if you want to field assassins and snipers abound,
so Sephiroth
Guard are for you.
He could be in this very room. He could be you. It could be me. He could even be... Whoa, whoa, whoa! What? It was obvious.
The Alpha Legion. Allegiance? Heretic. Primarch, Alfarius, and Omegon. Saboteurs, destabilizers, they're in your walls. Single word descriptor, espionage. Finally, the 20th Legion, the Alpha Legion, led by Alfarius and Omegon, the only Legion to have 2 Primarchs who were split as twins. The Alpha Legion are heretical, we think, and specialize in destabilization of society and armies.
Wait,
Their
what?
entire shtick is the Hydra, because when you cut off one head, 2 more take its place. All of the Alpha Legion look exactly like their Primarch. Olive skin, shaved head. All claim to be Alfarius. All are liars. They make the largest use of sleeper cells and cultists.
I'm just going to say this, that teal with a little bit of specks of light blue that are right over in here, and that purple, a little bit like that color right there looks freaking all. I'd love to take and see an actual miniature with that color scheme. That looks pretty cool.
The Chaos Space Marine factions, because it's extremely easy to take over a planet when you
Poisoned our water supply, burned our crops, and delivered a plague unto our houses!
Where the Raven Guard use stealth and sabotage to eliminate their enemies, the Alpha Legion prefer to weaken them over time with sleeper agents, impersonations, basically anything you can imagine from a hardcore spy movie or Cold War level espionage. Being Alfarius is not only an honor, being Alfarius is a requirement. There's a story of someone chasing down an Alpha Legion agent for years upon years, and when they finally catch up with them and they see them, they see that the agent is wearing the same face as their pursuer, because this was the plan all along, to kill him and take his spot. We're talking facial reconstruction surgery, we're talking hacking, we're talking political assassination and impersonation, everything. They are Space Marines in name only, because being a strong stoic warrior is not what the Alpha Legion is interested in. In fact, the Alpha Legion is interested in you not even knowing that the Alpha Legion is a thing. I am Alfarius. You are Alfarius. We are all Alfarius in his Lord's glorious army. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video. I hope you learned a little something. I hope if you were on the fence about what Space Marines you wanted to field, you would now have a better idea.
Well, there's a couple of them that going forward at some point in time. See, I have to find a group around here that actually does this. So that way I can kind of watch some of these videos, maybe get up with some people that are within my community. Now, this is wholly different, it seems like. I say seems like, it is wholly different than sitting down with friends playing D&D, Vampire the Masquerade, Exalted, Rift, GURPS, Marvel, the Marvel role-playing game, or Werewolf, or anything like that. This very much, I'll be honest with you, it'll be a difference for sure, and a change from playing those games that I played after I turned 18, and trying something new. Because yeah, with D&D, you can paint miniatures and stuff like that, but it's not a requirement. You don't have to have a game board to take and play with. You don't have to have anything like that. Character sheet, dice, Dungeon Master. That's all that's needed for that. It's the same thing. Only thing you need for other games like Vampire the Masquerade or Exalted or the Werewolf game or Rifts or GURP is a storyteller and players. This, in addition to the players, it's what, just 6-sided dice and then your army, and it's the point system and stuff like that. So this is something I definitely very much interested in. I cannot let anything like this become an addiction, since these things aren't cheap. Holy dog crap, they're expensive. I can only guess how much some that maybe people don't normally go for or play, play regularly might cost. Because this was, I thought, a good deal, because the rest of them I seen were 50 and above. This was like $30 on Amazon. So, so I've got 3 of these. I've got them all. I've got the 3 base coated, and I've started the blue one on this. However, I feel like I need something to magnify so I can get some of these crevices, and so I can do stuff like the crest right here, and some of the gold pieces on here, the white that's on there. Like, I can see where the cost starts getting a wee bit up there for this. Because not only that, I don't know if I'm able to properly get stuff painted the way just to look halfway decent like they are on the box. I don't know if this is small enough. I don't know if this is small enough, or I need something a little bit smaller, or if it's actually needing a magnifier to take and see closer to take and actually hit some of these things. It would have been cool when I started doing the tabletop role playing if they'd had similar, if the other games would have had similar offerings. Now you can get the pieces for Dungeons and Dragons, but games like Vampire the Masquerade, Exalted, and other games like that, it definitely would have given a different sense of ownership, rather other than just the stat blocks that you have to work with. Because having something like that, but as a vampire that I can, even if it's just a standard block vampire that I then take and paint the way I want to make the clothing and everything else look the way I want, that would have been cool. And it's something I could have had on the table to represent my character that I built out at this point. So for people to actually buy art, and I know there's point system and stuff like that, so for people to take and buy multiples upon multiples and have good sized armies of these, and also make the terrain, I just think this right here is very unique in what it offers. And for me, this painting, the painting, just that little bit, very cathartic. And I think even once this completely dries, I don't know if I'm going to try to take and do some highlight work, or if I'm going to take and do another coat, because I see I missed a black on this. That looked black to me earlier. So yeah, so I figure it's best to take and leave these right here, because I'll take and paint these in my own good time. I hope it'd be cool to see some other games incorporate this kind of stuff outside of D&D or Warhammer 40k. And it doesn't have to be, like I said, you having to take and buy a ton. Maybe one's just take and represent your individual character that you've created. So even if you decide the next go around, hey, I want to take and buy another figurine, have that one represent, I think that would be cool. Even if it's something outside of D&D, which typically has, if you want to, you can actually have the figurines. And so this is, in my opinion, very cool. Might be a little bit cost prohibitive for some folks. Not even going front. This is not a cheap hobby by a long shot, but I can see the reason why people enjoy it. This coming from someone who had never heard of it, but played games like D&D and Vampire and other tabletop role-playing games. That being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this hybrid type video. And one of the reasons why I decided to do something like this is, number one, I grew 18 until, and I haven't been able to take and play anything for a while. But from the age of 18, I've, at any time I have a chance, I play the tabletop role-playing games. Here in recent memory, it's been Dungeons and Dragons, and it's such a difference. It's such a difference just for the simple fact of you don't have all these dice that you have to take and roll. That's these different sided dice. It's just one. Not only that, you get one character sheet in the other games, unless you take and pull, your dungeon master or your storyteller, for whatever reason, for the campaign, ask you to take and make 2 character sheets to take and play and differentiate yourself for the purpose of the campaign or one shot or whatever you're playing. This, you're controlling an army, or you're controlling multiple pieces on a battlefield. So not only do you have to take into account individual hit points, but also actual like tactics, instead of just rolling, doing a perception roll, or doing a sneak roll, or something of that nature, or doing a roll for sneak attack. This is taking it and rolling, and it's different. It's different. So very much hope y'all enjoyed this. Y'all be good to each other. Love yourselves. Peace.